Day on Capitol Hill today. Judge Neil Gorsuch is set to be sworn in as a Supreme Court justice. All of this, of course, coming after that bruising fight where Republicans, they basically had to change the rules, the nuclear option, if you will, for approving Supreme Court picks, following fierce objection by the Democrats. First, there will be a public swearing-in ceremony at the White House today, and then later this week, Gorsuch will be meeting with colleagues to decide whether or not to hear a number of cases in the fall term. Fox 35 political analyst and former state Senate President Mike Haridopolos joining us live to talk more about this. Immediately, the first impact that Gorsuch is going to have, Mike.
Well, my guess is the way the ultimate test is on Obamacare. Whatever changes might take place this year or next, my guess is there will be challenges to that law. And so those will be some of the big cases they'll be taking on. And in general, the fight between states' rights and national government power. We've had this long-running controversy of what's the role of the national government versus the state government, the good old 10th Amendment we all learned about in high school.
Why this lag time of we'll decide whether or not you're going to hear cases in the fall? Show me where the water cooler is and get to work, you know?
Well, historically, they start their term just like the Congress starts its session in January. The Supreme Court starts its session in the fall. And so they're going to be looking at all these cases that are working its way through this courts and which ones they want to take up and interpret on or let previous decisions stand. But that's when their term starts up. I think we're all pleased to see that we finally have a full court in operation, all 9 members of the Supreme Court.
Do you see this Gorsuch nomination appointment having long-term effects for the Supreme Court? Will it shape it? Say we lose Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you know what I'm saying? Will that have a dramatic effect, or will Gorsuch have the effect immediately?
That's a fantastic question. I think this was a kind of a status quo selection, meaning Justice Scalia, who passed away last February, was a conservative. Clearly, Gorsuch is also a conservative. But to your point, if Ginsburg or maybe Kennedy choose to leave the court, that will be the big one. That will be the one that could shift the mood of the court from a more moderate, middle-of-the-road court to a more conservative court. And remember, Gorsuch is only 49 years old, so he could be on there for 3 or 4 decades.
Well, you know, Mike, I know we're just scratching the surface here, and you're going to be sticking around. You'll be taking people's questions on Facebook Live, right? And you'll be joining us again a little bit later on to talk about this.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, good deal. And again, Mike, how can people find you if they're looking for you?
Best way to find me is on Facebook. Type in the number 4, and then, of course, my common last name, Haridopolos.
Okay. Mike Haridopolos, thank you, sir. Jamie?
Thank you, Bob.